I was staring at my wife's phone, watching a video of her in our bed with my business partner, when she walked into the kitchen and asked what I wanted for dinner. The screenshot had arrived 40 minutes earlier from an unknown number. Just a still image at first. Grainy, dimmed lighting, but unmistakably our bedroom. Our cream-colored duvet. The reading lamp I'd installed last summer. And two figures that made my stomach drop through the floor. Then came the video. I'd watched it 3 times now, each viewing making the coffee in my gut turn more acidic. The timestamp showed last Tuesday. The day I'd told my wife Melissa that I had to fly to Denver for an emergency client meeting. The meeting that got canceled 2 hours after I landed, sending me right back home a day early. Though I'd decided to surprise her by staying at a hotel near the airport and coming home Wednesday morning instead. "Brandon, did you hear me?" Melissa's voice cut through the ringing in my ears. I looked up at her. She stood in the doorway of our kitchen in yoga pants and one of my old college sweatshirts, her blonde hair pulled back in a messy bun. She looked exactly like the woman I'd married 6 years ago. The woman who'd cried happy tears when I proposed on that beach in Maui. The mother of my 4-year-old daughter, Emma, who was currently at her grandmother's house for a sleepover. "Yeah," I heard myself say. My voice sounded normal, steady. "Whatever you want is fine." She smiled and moved to the refrigerator. "Tough day?" I almost laughed. Instead, I locked my phone and set it face down on the granite countertop. You could say that. The video was 11 minutes long. I hadn't watched all of it, couldn't stomach more than fragments, but I'd seen enough. Enough to recognize Tyler's tattoo sleeve. Enough to hear Melissa's voice saying things she'd never said to me. Enough to watch them in positions we hadn't tried since our honeymoon. Tyler Patterson, my business partner of 4 years, the guy who'd stood beside me at our wedding, who came to Emma's birthday parties, who'd helped me move my mother into assisted living last year, spending an entire Saturday hauling furniture in the August heat without complaint. The unknown number had sent one text message along with the media files. "Thought you should know what happens when you're away. This has been going on for 7 months. Check your home security footage from March 15th, April 3rd, May 21st, June 8th, and every Tuesday in July." 7 months. I'd been building a business with Tyler, working 60-hour weeks to get our consulting firm off the ground, while he'd been sleeping with my wife in my bed. Our bed. The bed where Melissa and I had conceived Emma. Where we'd spent lazy Sunday mornings doing crossword puzzles. Where I'd held her while she cried about her father's cancer diagnosis. "I'm thinking pasta," Melissa said, pulling out a box of linguine. "We have that pesto you like from Trader Joe's." I watched her move around the kitchen. She seemed relaxed, happy even. There was no guilt in her movements, no nervous energy. She hummed something under her breath. A song I didn't recognize. How many times had she done this? Looked me in the eye and acted like everything was normal while carrying this secret? 7 months meant roughly 30 Tuesdays. 30 times she'd planned it, prepared for it, done it, and then welcomed me home with a kiss and asked about my day. My phone buzzed. Another message from the unknown number. "Tyler's wife doesn't know yet. Thought you might want to coordinate. This is Rebecca, by the way, Tyler's assistant. He left his laptop unlocked at the office last week. Found a lot more than I wanted to see." I remembered Rebecca. Mid-50s, efficient, always wore cardigans. She'd worked as an executive assistant for 20 years before Tyler hired her. I'd chatted with her at the office holiday party, heard about her grandkids. Another buzz. I already sent everything to my personal email before he realized what happened. He fired me yesterday, said I was stealing company information. I've got 3 months of messages, videos, and some very interesting emails about hiding expenses. Your wife helped him book hotels using your company credit card. My jaw clenched. I typed back, "Can we meet?" Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Sterling Coffee on Maple Street. Melissa was boiling water now, her back to me. "Oh, I forgot to tell you. Tyler called earlier. Said he needs to discuss something about the Jacobson account. Wants to know if you can meet Thursday." "Did he?" It wasn't a question. "Mm-hmm. I told him you'd call back." She glanced over her shoulder. "You okay? You seem tense." I stood up, pocketing my phone. "Just need some air. Going to take a walk. Dinner will be ready in 20 minutes. I'll be back." I walked out of our house, the 4-bedroom colonial we'd bought 3 years ago, the one with the mortgage that kept me up at night, the one Melissa had insisted we needed for Emma to have a yard. And I kept walking until I reached the park 2 blocks away. The sun was setting, painting the sky in oranges and purples. A couple walked past holding hands. A kid rode by on a bicycle. Normal people doing normal things in their normal lives. Mine had just detonated. I sat on a bench and opened my phone again. Went to our home security app. We'd installed cameras 8 months ago after a break-in 2 streets over. One in the living room, one at the front door, one in the garage. I pulled up March 15th. Fast-forwarded through the morning. At 9:47 a.m., I watched myself leave through the garage, heading to the office. At 10:23 a.m., Tyler's BMW pulled into our driveway. He had a key. The iPad sat on the kitchen counter where Melissa had left it that morning, its rose gold case reflecting the overhead lights. I'd walked past it a dozen times since coming home, each time feeling that pull of curiosity mixed with dread. Now, standing in the empty house with nothing but the hum of the refrigerator for company, I picked it up. We'd bought it 2 years ago for vacation planning and family photos. Emma loved watching Bluey on it during car rides. Melissa used it for recipes and online shopping. The home screen showed a photo of the 3 of us at the Grand Canyon last spring. Emma on my shoulders, Melissa's arm around my waist, all of us squinting into the sun like we didn't have a care in the world. I opened the calendar app. The interface loaded with our color-coded system. Blue for my work commitments, pink for Melissa's appointments, yellow for Emma's activities, green for family events. A rainbow of domestic coordination that had seemed so organized, so normal. I scrolled to this week. Tuesday, 2 p.m. Dentist, Dr. Palmer, in pink. I stared at that entry. Melissa had mentioned it at breakfast 3 days ago. "I have that cleaning on Tuesday," she'd said, pouring orange juice into Emma's sippy cup. "Might grab lunch after if you're still in meetings." My finger hovered over the appointment. I tapped it. The details expanded. No address listed, no reminder set. Just Dentist, Dr. Palmer, floating in the 2 p.m. slot like it belonged there. I scrolled down to see what else occupied Tuesday. There, in the same time slot, overlapping perfectly, a calendar invitation from T. Patterson showing "Accepted" in gray text beneath it. The title, Dinner Reservation, Dominic's Steakhouse, 7:30 p.m. My stomach dropped. The invitation had a location pin attached. I tapped it. The map loaded, showing Dominic's on the east side of Phoenix, 40 minutes from our house, in a part of town we never went to. Expensive, dimly lit. The kind of place you took someone when you wanted privacy. But that wasn't what made my hands start shaking. At the bottom of the invitation in small gray text, location sharing enabled. I tapped again. The map expanded, showing a blue dot pulsing at an address I didn't recognize. Tyler's location, live and updating. He was there now, at 6:47 p.m. on a Thursday evening. I checked Melissa's calendar again, scrolling back through the weeks. There they were, scattered like landmines through the past 7 months. Dentist, hair appointment, lunch with Katie. All in pink, all looking perfectly innocent. Until I tapped them. Beneath each one, hidden in the details, accepted invitations from T. Patterson. Lunch meeting, client dinner, property viewing. Every single one with location sharing enabled, creating a digital breadcrumb trail of their movements. How had I never noticed? Because I'd never looked. Why would I? We shared a calendar to coordinate our lives, not to spy on each other. The thought had never crossed my mind to dig into the details of Melissa's dentist appointments or lunch plans. I scrolled to next week. Tuesday again, of course it was Tuesday. Dentist follow-up, 1 p.m. in pink. I tapped it. There was the invitation from Tyler underneath. Lunch, Bistro Azure, 12:30 p.m. Location sharing enabled. Reservation number included in the notes, 4782. The front door opened. I looked up to see Melissa walking in, grocery bags in both hands, her phone tucked under her chin as she talked to someone. "No, I told you the blue ones," she was saying. "The organic ones from Trader Joe's." "Yeah. Okay. Love you too, Mom." She ended the call and smiled at me. "Hey, you're home early." Finished up. I set the iPad down on the counter, face up, calendar still open. "Need help with those?" "I got it." She set the bags on the granite and started unpacking. Milk, eggs, the blue organic something or others her mother had apparently requested. "Emma's staying at your mom's tonight, too. She called while I was shopping. Said Emma's having such a good time with the new dollhouse, she wants to keep her for a sleepover." "That's fine." Melissa pulled out a rotisserie chicken and set it on the counter. "I was thinking we could have a quiet dinner, just us. It's been a while since we had an evening alone." The irony would have been funny if it didn't make me want to put my fist through the wall. "Sure," I said. "Sounds good." She hummed while she put away groceries, that same tuneless melody I'd heard 100 times. Normal. Content. Not a single tell that anything was wrong. I picked up the iPad again. "Hey, what time's your dentist appointment on Tuesday?" Her hand paused on a box of pasta. "Just for a second." 2 o'clock. Why?" "Just checking. I might need to move my afternoon meeting." "Oh," she resumed unpacking. "Yeah, it's at 2. Shouldn't take more than an hour." I looked down at the screen. The overlapping events stared back at me. Dentist at 2 p.m. Dinner reservation at 7:30 p.m. Invitation accepted at 11:47 a.m. 3 days ago. "Which dentist do you go to again?" I asked, keeping my voice casual. "I might need a cleaning soon." "Dr. Palmer, on Camelback." She didn't look up from the groceries. "I can get you the number if you want." "That'd be great." She pulled out her phone, scrolled for a moment, then read off a number. I typed it into my phone's notes app, already knowing what I'd find when I called it tomorrow. Either Dr. Palmer wouldn't have Melissa in the system, or the appointment would be scheduled for a different time, or the office would be closed on Tuesdays. Some detail that wouldn't match. "Thanks," I said. Melissa started washing vegetables in the sink. "You want salad with the chicken?" "Whatever you want." "Salad it is." She glanced at me over her shoulder. "You okay? You seem quiet." "Just tired. Long day." "I bet." She dried her hands and walked over, wrapping her arms around my waist from behind. Her chin rested on my shoulder. "Well, Emma's gone. We've got the whole house to ourselves." Maybe we could open that wine from Napa, watch something. Her breath was warm on my neck. 7 months ago, this would have made me smile. Would have made me pull her close and kiss her forehead and feel grateful for a quiet evening with my wife. Now all I could think about was the blue dot pulsing on the map. Tyler's location, shared and tracked, coordinated down to the minute. "Yeah," I said. "That sounds nice." She kissed my cheek and went back to the vegetables. I looked down at the iPad again. Next Tuesday's appointment glowed on the screen. Bistro Azure. Reservation 4782. An idea formed, cold and sharp. I opened a new browser tab on my phone and searched for Bistro Azure. Their website loaded. Upscale French cuisine, extensive wine list, intimate seating. Perfect for a romantic lunch. I found their reservations page and pulled up the booking system. Reservation 4782 was listed under Patterson, party of 2, 12:30 p.m. I took a screenshot. Then I went back to the calendar and started taking screenshots of everything. The overlapping appointments, the accepted invitations, the location pins, the reservation numbers, every piece of digital evidence that showed exactly how they'd been coordinating their affair, right here in our shared family calendar that we'd set up to plan trips to the zoo and remember Emma's pediatrician appointments. My phone filled with images. I airdropped them all to my laptop, then to a cloud storage account Melissa didn't know about. Backed up 3 times, just to be sure. "Dinner's almost ready," Melissa called from the kitchen. "Be right there." I had one more thing to do. I opened the calendar invitation for next Tuesday. The one Tyler had sent. The one Melissa had accepted. My finger hovered over the RSVP options at the bottom. Then I tapped Decline. The invitation updated immediately, changing Melissa's response from accepted to declined. On Tyler's end, he'd get a notification. His Tuesday lunch plan, suddenly canceled by the woman who'd confirmed it 3 days ago. Let him sweat. Let him wonder. Let them both scramble to figure out what went wrong with their careful coordination. I set the iPad back on the counter, face down this time. In the kitchen, Melissa was plating chicken and salad, humming that tuneless melody. The sunset through the window painted everything in oranges and golds. Domestic and peaceful and completely hollow. "Ready to eat?" she asked. I walked to the table and sat down. "Yeah," I said. "I'm ready." The morning air was already thick with heat when I pulled into the parking lot of Sterling Coffee on Maple Street at 9:47 a.m., 13 minutes early. I'd told Melissa I had a breakfast meeting with a potential client. She'd smiled, kissed my cheek, reminded me we needed milk. Rebecca was already inside, sitting at a corner table with her back to the wall. She wore a navy cardigan despite the temperature climbing toward 90. When she saw me, she didn't wave or smile, just a small nod. I ordered black coffee I wouldn't drink and sat down across from her. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. Her voice was quiet, controlled. "I know this isn't easy. What else do you have?" She didn't waste time. From a leather portfolio, she pulled out a manila folder. I made copies before he locked me out of the system. Expense reports going back 7 months. Hotels, restaurants, even a weekend trip to Sedona in April. I opened the folder. The first page was a credit card statement. My company credit card. The one I'd given Tyler for legitimate business expenses. March 12th, Hotel Palomar, Phoenix. $387.42. March 19th, the Phoenician Resort. 5/12/18. March 26th, Hotel Palomar again. 387.42s every Tuesday, like clockwork. He was using the company card, Rebecca said, categorizing them as client entertainment. I didn't think anything of it at first, We do a lot of business lunches. But then I noticed the pattern. Same day every week. Always hotels with restaurants attached so he could claim it was a meal meeting. My coffee sat untouched, steam rising between us. How much total? 14,000, give or take. That's just hotels and restaurants. Doesn't include the Sedona trip. He paid cash for that, but I found the itinerary in his deleted emails. She paused. He's been stealing from you to sleep with your wife. I felt nothing. That was the strangest part. I should have felt rage, humiliation, something. Instead, there was just this cold, mechanical cataloging of information. $14,000. 30 Tuesdays. 7 months. The calendar invitations, I said. You mentioned those yesterday. Rebecca pulled out her phone, turned it toward me. He syncs his work calendar with the family iPad. I have access to the business account so I can see everything. Look at next week. Tuesday, August 23rd, 10:30 a.m. Quarterly review, Phoenix office. I pulled up Melissa's calendar on my phone. Same day, same time. Dentist, Dr. Patterson. Dr. Patterson. She'd actually used his last name. There's more, Rebecca said. I shouldn't have access to this anymore, but he forgot to revoke my admin privileges on the shared drive. Sloppy. She slid a USB drive across the table. Photos, emails, text message screenshots he saved as backups. Everything. I pocketed the drive without looking at it. Why are you doing this? I asked. Because I have a daughter. Rebecca's hands were folded on the table, perfectly still. She's 32. If her husband was doing this, I'd want someone to tell her. And because Tyler Patterson is a coward who fires people to cover his tracks. She met my eyes. I worked for him for 4 years. I was good at my job. He threw me away like trash because I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. What exactly did you see? His laptop was open in the conference room. He'd gone to get coffee. There was an email from Melissa on the screen. I saw her name, recognized it from the Christmas party last year. The preview said something about Tuesday being their anniversary. 7 months together. Rebecca's mouth tightened. I didn't go looking for it, but once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And he knew you'd seen it. I must have reacted. I don't know. But 2 hours later, he called me into his office and said they were restructuring. My position was eliminated, effective immediately. She laughed, bitter. 20 years as an executive assistant. 4 years with him. 2 hours notice. The coffee shop was filling up around us. A young couple at the next table, holding hands across their lattes. An old man doing a crossword puzzle by the window. Normal people having normal mornings. What are you going to do? Rebecca asked. I thought about Melissa humming in the kitchen last night. Melissa asking what I wanted for dinner. Melissa sleeping peacefully beside me while I stared at the ceiling, counting Tuesdays. I don't know yet, I said. But that was a lie. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I spent the afternoon in my office with the door locked, going through the USB drive. Rebecca had been thorough. There were photos, not explicit, thank God, just the two of them at restaurants, in hotel lobbies, walking through Sedona's red rocks. Melissa was smiling in every single one. That same easy smile she gave me over breakfast. The emails were worse. Hundreds of them. Tyler's work account to Melissa's personal email. They'd been careful not to use anything explicit, but the intimacy was unmistakable. Can't stop thinking about yesterday. Same time next week? Counting down the days. He's in Denver again Tuesday. You make me feel alive again. That last one was from Melissa. I read it 3 times trying to recognize my wife in those words. You make me feel alive again, as if she'd been dead before, as if our 6 years together, our daughter, our life, as if none of it had made her feel alive. I backed up everything to 3 separate cloud accounts, printed hard copies, organized it all into a timeline. March 15th. First security camera footage of Tyler entering our house. March 12th. First hotel charge. The affair had started in our bed. My phone buzzed. Melissa. Don't forget Emma's parent-teacher conference tomorrow at 3. Can you make it? I stared at the message. Emma's conference. We'd scheduled it 2 months ago. Melissa had put it in the shared calendar, color-coded it pink, set 3 reminders. The same calendar where she'd been hiding her affair. I'll be there, I typed back. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Love you. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. 2 words. I'd said them 10,000 times. Texted them 1,000 more. Automatic as breathing. I closed the message without responding. That evening, I sat in my car outside our house for 20 minutes before going inside. The lights were on in the kitchen. Through the window, I could see Melissa moving around, probably making dinner. Emma was still at my mother's. We'd pick her up tomorrow after the conference. I pulled out my phone and opened the shared calendar. Tuesday's lunch reservation at Bistro Azure was still there. My RSVP changed to no. Tyler would have seen it by now. Would have asked Melissa about it. They'd be scrambling, trying to figure out if it was a glitch or if I knew something. Let them scramble. I scrolled forward to next Friday, created a new event. Dinner, Sapphire Gentlemen's Club, 8 p.m. Added Melissa's email. Set it to send invitations to everyone in her contacts. Her mom, her sister, her co-workers from the dental office where she worked part-time, her book club friends. My finger hovered over send. Not yet. Too obvious. They'd know immediately that something was wrong, that I'd figured it out. I needed them comfortable, unsuspecting. I deleted the fake event, saved it as a draft. Instead, I opened my email and started a new message to Melissa's office manager, Janet. We'd met a few times at office parties. She seemed nice, professional. Hi, Janet. This is Brandon Cooper, Melissa's husband. I'm trying to plan a surprise party for her birthday next month and wanted to coordinate with her work schedule. Could you send me her calendar for September? I want to make sure I don't conflict with any appointments. Thanks. I hit send before I could second guess it. Then I got out of the car and went inside. Melissa was at the stove stirring something that smelled like marinara. She'd changed into a sundress, yellow with white flowers. Her hair was down. Hey, she said, smiling. How was your day? Fine. Productive meeting this morning. Good. She turned back to the stove. Pasta okay for dinner? Perfect. I set my briefcase on the counter. Watched her move around the kitchen, humming something I didn't recognize. She looked so normal, so content. I responded to Emma's conference tomorrow, she said. 3 o'clock, right? Right. Mrs. Williams said she wants to talk about Emma's reading progress. I think she's doing really well, don't you? Yeah, she's smart. Melissa glanced at me, something flickering across her face. You okay? You seem quiet. Just tired, long day. She nodded, accepting this. Well, dinner's almost ready. Want to set the table? I got plates from the cabinet. 2 settings. Forks, knives, napkins. Poured water into glasses. Melissa brought the pasta over, served us both. We ate in silence for a few minutes. Oh, she said suddenly. I have a dentist appointment next Tuesday. Just a follow-up. Should only be an hour or so. I took a sip of water, swallowed. Sounds good, I said. And I watched her smile. I spent Sunday afternoon with Emma at the park 2 blocks from our house, pushing her on the swings while Melissa stayed home to catch up on laundry. The August heat pressed down on us, but Emma didn't seem to notice, shrieking with delight every time the swing reached its apex. "Higher, Daddy! Higher!" I pushed harder, watching her blonde pigtails stream behind her. She had Melissa's hair, my eyes. In 4 years, she'd never seen us fight, never heard a raised voice. We'd been so careful about that. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I let the swing slow before checking it. Melissa, what do you want for dinner? Thinking of making that chicken thing you like? The chicken thing I liked. Rosemary and lemon, roasted with potatoes. She'd made it on our first anniversary, on Emma's 2nd birthday. Last month when I got home late from Denver, exhausted and grateful. I typed back, "Sounds perfect. Home by 6. Daddy, you stopped pushing." "Sorry, sweetheart." I slipped the phone away and gave the swing another push, but my mind was already elsewhere, cataloging the rest of Rebecca's files on my laptop. The expense reports alone would sink Tyler professionally. $14,000 charged to our company card over 7 months. The Ritz-Carlton in Scottsdale, the Four Seasons, that boutique hotel in Sedona with the couple's spa packages. He'd been billing our clients for the time he spent sleeping with my wife. Emma wanted ice cream on the walk home. I bought her a strawberry cone from the truck near the elementary school, watched her lick pink drips off her fingers while she chattered about her upcoming first day of pre-K. Melissa had already bought her a backpack, purple with unicorns. "Mommy says I'm a big girl now," Emma announced, strawberry smeared across her chin. "You are," I said. "The biggest." We got home at 5:47. Melissa's car sat in the driveway, trunk open. Grocery bags from Trader Joe's lined the garage floor. She must have gone shopping while we were at the park. I carried Emma inside while she clutched her half-eaten cone, dripping onto my shirt. "There's my girl!" Melissa appeared from the kitchen, smiling, reaching for Emma. She wore the same yoga pants from this morning, a different tank top. Her hair was down now, still damp from a shower. She smelled like her coconut shampoo. I handed Emma over and went back for the groceries. 4 trips from garage to kitchen. Melissa hummed while she unpacked, that same tuneless melody from yesterday morning. I put away cereal boxes, canned tomatoes, the fancy olive oil she liked. Everything in its designated spot. The kitchen we'd renovated last spring, arguing over cabinet hardware and backsplash tile like it mattered. "How was the park?" she asked, lifting Emma onto the counter to wipe her face with a damp cloth. "Good. Hot." "I bet." She kissed Emma's nose. "Did you have fun with Daddy?" "We got ice cream and I went really high on the swings and there was a dog." My phone buzzed again. I pulled it out. Unknown. "Thought you should see this one, too." Another screenshot. Tyler's calendar, but this time from last month. July 16th, 2 p.m. Lunch, M. The location pin showed a hotel in Tempe. Below it, another entry for 5 p.m. Dinner with Brandon, Sterling Coffee. He'd scheduled her before our coffee meeting, before sitting across from me at Sterling Coffee on Maple Street, talking about Q3 projections and client retention while he still smelled like my wife. I must have made a sound because Melissa looked up. "Everything okay?" "Work thing." I shoved the phone back in my pocket. "Rebecca's replacement is asking about files." "On a Sunday?" She lifted Emma down, set her in front of the TV with her tablet. "That's a little much." New hires. I opened the refrigerator, stared at the contents without seeing them. They always try too hard at first. She laughed. It sounded genuine. Remember when you worked those crazy hours at your first job? Your boss loved you. Yeah. I grabbed a beer I didn't want and went to the living room, sat on the couch while Emma watched her cartoon. Melissa moved around the kitchen behind me, opening drawers, running water. Domestic sounds. The soundtrack of our life together. My iPad sat on the coffee table where we'd left it this morning. The family calendar still open. I picked it up, scrolled through the upcoming week. Tuesday, August 22nd. Dentist, 2 p.m., in Melissa's color-coded pink. I tapped it. Location sharing enabled, set to notify when she arrived and departed. I opened Tyler's calendar, still accessible through our shared business account. Tuesday, August 22nd. Reservation, the Monarch Hotel, 2 p.m. Same location pin, same notification settings. 7 months of Tuesdays, lined up like dominoes. But there was another entry I hadn't noticed before. This coming Friday, August 25th. Tyler's calendar showed Phoenix Sky Harbor, 6 p.m., with a flight confirmation number. I clicked through to the details. American Airlines, Flight 1847 to San Diego. Return Sunday evening. San Diego. I switched back to Melissa's calendar. Friday the 25th showed Girls Weekend Scottsdale from 4 p.m. through Sunday. My hand tightened on the iPad. She'd mentioned this last week. Her college roommate's birthday. Spa day, wine tasting, she'd already booked the hotel. I'd offered to take Emma to my mother's, make it easier for her to relax. I pulled up Tyler's calendar again, scrolled back through July. July 14th. LAX, 7 p.m. Melissa's calendar from the same weekend. Visiting mom, Sacramento. Her mother lived in Tucson. June 23rd. Tyler's calendar showed Vegas. Melissa's showed a work conference in Flagstaff. I was going to be sick. Dinner's almost ready, Melissa called from the kitchen. Can you get Emma washed up? I set the iPad down carefully, like it might explode. Took Emma to the bathroom and helped her wash strawberry residue off her hands and face. She sang a song about wheels on a bus. I dried her hands with the towel that matched our shower curtain, part of the set Melissa had picked out when we moved in. We ate at the kitchen table. The rosemary chicken was perfect. Crispy skin, tender meat, potatoes golden and soft. Melissa had made a salad with that vinaigrette I liked. She'd opened a bottle of the Pinot Noir from our wine rack, the one we'd been saving. What's the occasion? I asked, gesturing to the wine. She shrugged, smiling. No occasion, just felt like it. Emma told us about the dog at the park, a golden retriever named Sunny, while Melissa listened with exaggerated interest, asking questions, laughing at all the right moments. She reached across the table once to squeeze my hand. I'm glad we're doing this, she said. Family dinner. We should do it more often. We eat dinner together every night. I know, but... She gestured vaguely with her wine glass. It feels nice tonight. Special. I cut another piece of chicken. Chewed, swallowed. It tasted like cardboard. After dinner, Melissa gave Emma a bath while I loaded the dishwasher. Through the ceiling, I could hear water running, Emma's laughter, Melissa singing. The same lullaby she'd sung since Emma was a baby. My phone sat on the counter, face down where I'd left it. I picked it up, opened my messages to Rebecca. Me. The weekend trips too? 3 dots appeared immediately. Rebecca. All of them. I have the flight confirmations if you need them. He used the company card for his tickets, paid cash for hers. Me. How many? Rebecca. 6 since January. Vegas twice, San Diego, LA, Seattle, Santa Fe. Always Friday to Sunday. 6 weekends. 6 times she'd kiss me goodbye, told me she loved me, driven to the airport to meet him instead. Me. The one this Friday? Rebecca. San Diego, Hotel Coronado. He booked a suite with an ocean view. I set the phone down and gripped the edge of the counter. The granite was cool under my palms, solid. Real. Everything else felt like it was dissolving. Upstairs, the bathroom door opened. Footsteps across the hallway, Melissa carrying Emma to bed. More singing, softer now. The click of Emma's bedroom door closing. Melissa came down 10 minutes later in pajama shorts and one of my old t-shirts, her hair pulled back. She poured herself another glass of wine and curled up on the couch next to me. She went down easy tonight, she said, resting her head on my shoulder. All that fresh air. I kept my eyes on the TV, some cooking show I wasn't watching. So I was thinking, Melissa continued, for the Scottsdale trip this weekend. Scottsdale. Yeah, remember? Katie's birthday thing? She tilted her head a look up at me. You said you'd take Emma to your mom's. Right. I was thinking I might leave Friday afternoon instead of evening. Beat the traffic, get there in time for dinner. Her fingers traced patterns on my knee. That okay? Sure. You're the best. She kissed my jaw, settled back against my shoulder. I'll be back Sunday night. We can do something fun Monday, the 3 of us, before your Tuesday trip. Tuesday. The dentist appointment that wasn't. Sounds good, I heard myself say. She finished her wine and stood, stretching. I'm exhausted. Coming to bed? In a bit. Want to finish this episode? She kissed the top of my head and headed upstairs. I waited until I heard our bedroom door close, then picked up my phone again. The calendar stared back at me. Tuesday's overlapping appointments, Friday's conflicting trips. I opened my photos, found the screenshots Rebecca had sent. Melissa in our bed, Tyler's hands in her hair. The timestamp. Tuesday, August 8th, 2:47 p.m. The same afternoon she'd texted me about picking up milk on my way home. My finger hovered over the airdrop button. Not yet. Instead, I opened Tyler's calendar invitation for Friday's flight and clicked through to the hotel reservation. The Monarch Hotel for Tuesday. Hotel Coronado for the weekend. Both reservations under his name, both allowing for an additional guest. I could cancel them. Delete them. But that would tip him off. I needed something better. Something that would destroy them both. I sat in the Trader Joe's parking lot, engine running, air conditioning blasting against the Phoenix heat. The phone in my hand showed 3:47 p.m. Melissa's text had come through 20 minutes ago. Don't forget the almond milk and those dark chocolate peanut butter cups Emma likes. The heart emoji. She'd added a heart emoji. I stared at the phone until the screen went dark, then looked up at the store entrance. People pushed carts loaded with reusable bags, normal people doing normal things on a Wednesday afternoon. A couple held hands near the flower display. The woman laughed at something the man said. My phone buzzed again. Tyler this time in our business partner chat. Denver trip next week. Want to grab dinner Tuesday? There's a steakhouse near the hotel Rebecca recommended before she, well, you know. Before she exposed you, I thought. Before she sent me everything. I typed back. Sounds good. Let me know the time. Keep it normal. Keep them comfortable. The steering wheel was hot under my palms. I'd been sitting here for 15 minutes, maybe 20, just processing. That's what this was now. Processing. Every interaction filtered through the lens of what I knew, what they didn't know I knew. I pulled up the family calendar on the iPad I'd grabbed from the kitchen counter. There it was, color-coded and organized, the infrastructure of our life together. Emma's preschool events in purple, Melissa's appointments in pink, my work trips in blue. Tyler's name appeared nowhere, of course, but I knew how to read between the lines now. Thursday, 2 p.m. Dentist, Dr. Wilson. I opened a new browser tab and searched for Dr. Wilson's dental office, called the number. Thank you for calling Bright Smile Dental. This is Jessica. How can I help you? Hi, I need to confirm my wife's appointment for Thursday at 2. Melissa Cooper. Keys clicking. I'm not showing a Melissa Cooper in our system. Could it be under a different name? No, that's fine. Must have the wrong office. Thank you. I hung up. Opened the location history on our shared Find My app, the one we'd set up for safety when Emma was born, so we'd always know where each other was in case of emergency. Thursday at 2 p.m., Melissa's phone had been at the Phoenician Resort. She'd been there for 3 hours and 17 minutes. I scrolled back through weeks of location data, cross-referencing with the calendar. Every dentist appointment matched a different hotel. The Canby, the Sanctuary, Mountain Shadows. They rotated, never the same place twice in a row. Careful, methodical, smart enough to vary the locations, not smart enough to turn off location sharing. I pulled up Tyler's calendar next, the shared business calendar we both had access to for coordinating client meetings. Thursday, 2 p.m. Off-site meeting, potential client. The Phoenician Resort wasn't listed as the location, but I'd bet my house that's where he'd been. My fingers moved across the screen, opening the calendar settings. Shared calendars, family, business, and there, I'd almost missed it, a third calendar Melissa had access to. Personal scheduling, it was called. Shared between Melissa's email and an address I didn't recognize. tyler.p@personalagmail.com. I clicked on it. The screen filled with events I'd never seen before. Dinner reservations, weekend trips, hotel confirmations. All the logistics they'd hidden from the main family calendar, tucked away in this private space they thought was secure. Next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Dinner, Kai Restaurant, reservation 8847. The same Tuesday I was supposed to be in Denver. The same Tuesday Melissa had told me she was having book club at Jennifer's house. I took a screenshot. Then another. Then I started scrolling, documenting everything. Every reservation, every hotel booking, every coordinated meetup they'd planned in this secret calendar they'd been stupid enough to share on a platform I had access to. June 15th. Weekend. Sedona. Enchantment Resort, Conf RT7829. That was the weekend she'd said she was visiting her college roommate in Flagstaff. I'd stayed home with Emma, given her a bath, read her 3 bedtime stories, tucked her in, while Melissa was 2 hours south in a resort room with my business partner. My hands were shaking. I set the phone down, gripped the steering wheel, breathed. A text from Melissa. You okay? You've been gone a while. I typed. Line was long, heading home soon. The lie came easily now. Funny how that worked. I picked up the iPad again and opened the calendar settings. The little gear icon in the corner. Calendar sharing permissions. I could see everyone who had access, every device that was synced. And I could make changes. My finger hovered over Tyler's shared access to our family calendar. One tap, and he'd be removed, unable to see Melissa's fake appointments, unable to coordinate their meetups. They'd be fumbling in the dark, trying to figure out why their system had broken down. But that would tip them off. They'd know something was wrong. I needed them comfortable, confident, right up until the moment I wasn't. Instead, I opened Tyler's personal calendar, the one he'd so helpfully shared with Melissa. I scrolled to next Friday, the day before their planned Scottsdale weekend that was actually San Diego. I created a new event, client dinner, mandatory, 6 p.m., Phoenix. I made it a recurring meeting, every Friday for the next month. Marked it as high priority. Then I went into the notification settings and turned off all alerts for Tyler's calendar on Melissa's phone. She wouldn't see the changes until she looked, and by then they'd be scrambling to figure out why their plans kept conflicting. Small moves, calculated disruptions. My phone buzzed. Rebecca's number, the one she'd texted from yesterday. "Have you looked at the expense reports yet? There's more than just hotels." I wrote back. "What else?" 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Jewelry, Tiffany & Co., $3,200 charge on March 14th. Want to guess what Melissa was wearing at the company dinner 2 weeks later? March 14th. That was right after Valentine's Day. I'd given Melissa a card and made reservations at her favorite Italian place. We'd had a nice dinner. She'd seemed happy. And 2 weeks later, she'd worn a bracelet I didn't recognize to the company quarterly dinner. When I'd asked about it, she'd said it was a gift from her mother. "Send me everything," I typed. "Every receipt, every charge, every detail." "Already compiling it. You'll have it by tonight." I set the phone down and stared at the Trader Joe's entrance. I still needed to go inside. Still needed to buy the almond milk and the chocolate peanut butter cups. Still needed to go home and kiss my daughter and ask my wife how her day was and pretend everything was fine. The couple by the flower display was gone now. Different people moved through the parking lot, loading groceries, buckling kids into car seats, living their lives. I grabbed my phone and pulled up the calendar one more time. Next Tuesday's dinner reservation at Kai Restaurant. Reservation 8847. I opened a new browser tab and found the restaurant's website. Clicked on the reservations link. Entered the confirmation number. The reservation popped up. Party of 2, 7:30 p.m. under the name Tyler Patterson. There was an option to modify the reservation, change the time, the party size, add special requests, or cancel it entirely. My finger hovered over the cancel button. It would be so easy. One tap and their romantic dinner would evaporate. They'd show up to confusion and empty tables. But again, too obvious. Too soon. Instead, I clicked on the special request field and typed, "Celebrating an anniversary. Please have champagne ready at the table." Let them wonder. Let them try to figure out which anniversary Tyler was supposedly celebrating, and with whom. I confirmed the modification and closed the browser. Then I grabbed my wallet, got out of the car and walked into Trader Joe's. The automatic doors whooshed open. Cool air and the smell of fresh flowers washed over me. I grabbed a cart and headed for the dairy section. Almond milk. Dark chocolate peanut butter cups. The things my wife had asked for. The wife who was planning to spend next Tuesday night with my business partner at a restaurant I'd just modified the reservation for. I found the almond milk, the unsweetened vanilla kind Melissa preferred, and put it in the cart. Then I walked to the candy aisle and grabbed 3 bags of Emma's favorite chocolate. She'd be excited when I got home. She'd run to the door and hug my legs and ask if I got her treats. And Melissa would smile and thank me and probably kiss my cheek, and I'd smell her perfume and see her blue eyes and remember every single lie. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Another text from the family calendar app. Melissa Cooper has created a new event. Saturday, 10 a.m. Farmers Market with Emma. I almost laughed. Because I absolutely knew, that there was another calendar, a hidden one, where Saturday looked very different. I pulled out my phone and checked Tyler's personal calendar. Saturday, 10 a.m. Brunch, the Gladly, reservation for 2. There it was. I sat in the Trader Joe's parking lot until the sun started setting, watching couples walk past with their reusable bags, everyone playing their parts. The phone in my hand felt like it weighed 10 pounds. Rebecca's evidence was solid. 7 months of documentation, expense reports, hotel receipts. But I needed one more piece. The family iPad sat on the passenger seat. I'd grabbed it on my way out, telling Melissa I needed to review some work documents. She'd barely looked up from her phone. I opened the calendar app and navigated to the shared family calendar, the one Melissa thought was just for Emma's playdates and my business trips. Then I went deeper, into the nested calendars she'd created. Most people didn't know you could hide secondary calendars within the main view. Melissa had gotten clever. There it was. Personal wellness. I tapped it open. The entries went back 9 months, not 7. Rebecca's timeline was off by 2 months, which meant this had started even earlier than I'd thought. My hands went numb. March 14th. Dentist, 2 p.m. March 21st. Dentist, 2 p.m. March 28th. Dentist, 2 p.m. every Tuesday. Like clockwork. But then I noticed something else. Overlapping events on the same dates. I switched to the month view and saw them. Calendar invites Melissa had accepted from an email address I didn't recognize. tpatterson.consulting@gmail.com. Tyler had been sending her calendar invites. I clicked on one from last week. Dinner reservation, Kai's Kitchen, 7:30 p.m. The location was enabled. I could see exactly where they'd met. But what made my throat close up was the date. Last Tuesday. The same Tuesday I'd told Melissa I was working late on the Henderson account. I scrolled through more entries. April 3rd. Her dentist appointment at 2 p.m. overlapped with his lunch meeting invite at 1:30 p.m. Same location share, the Hilton Garden Inn on Camelback Road. May 17th. Her yoga class coincided with his dinner reservation at a steakhouse in Scottsdale. They'd been sloppy, or maybe they'd just stopped caring. I took screenshots of everything, every overlapping event, every location share, every accepted invite. Then I went further back and found the upcoming events. This Saturday, Girls' Weekend, Scottsdale, on her calendar. But Tyler had sent an invite for the same dates. San Diego Conference, Hotel del Coronado. The Hotel del Coronado. I'd proposed to Melissa at that hotel 6 years ago, on the beach at sunset. She'd cried and said it was the happiest moment of her life. My finger hovered over the screenshot button. The phone's camera shutter sound seemed too loud in the quiet car. I took 12 screenshots total, methodical and thorough, making sure every detail was captured. The times, the locations, the overlapping entries, the accepted invites. Then I opened my text thread with Melissa. She'd sent a message 20 minutes ago. "What do you want for dinner? Thinking pasta?" I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my photos and selected all 12 screenshots. My thumb moved to the airdrop icon. Not yet. I needed to be there when she saw them. I needed to watch her face when the lies stopped working. The house was quiet when I got home. Melissa was in the kitchen, stirring something on the stove. She'd changed into different yoga pants, black instead of gray, and pulled her hair into a neater bun. The smell of garlic and tomatoes filled the air. "Hey," she said without turning around. I made puttanesca. Should be ready in 10. I set the iPad on the counter. Smells good. Emma called from your mom's. She wants to know if she can stay an extra night. I told her probably, but I'd check with you first. Sure, that's fine. Melissa glanced at me then, wooden spoon in hand. You okay? You seem quiet. Long day. I pulled out my phone and set it face down on the granite. How was yours? Fine. Boring. I reorganized the linen closet. She turned back to the stove. Oh, and I confirmed with Julie and Amanda for this weekend. We're leaving Saturday morning, coming back Sunday night. The Scottsdale trip. Yeah, should be fun. We're doing the spa thing at the resort. Maybe some shopping. She tasted the sauce, added salt. You'll be okay with Emma? Actually, she'll be at my mom's all weekend. Remember? We planned that last month. Melissa paused, just for a second. Right. I forgot. I watched her stir the sauce, watched her shoulders move under her t-shirt, watched her hum something under her breath. She was good. Really good. If I hadn't seen the evidence myself, I'd never suspect a thing. Set the table, she asked. I got 2 plates from the cabinet, 2 forks, 2 napkins, poured 2 glasses of water. Sat down at the table we'd picked out together 3 years ago at some overpriced furniture store in Scottsdale. Melissa had loved the live edge wood, said it felt authentic. She brought the pasta over, served us both, sat down across from me. Smiled. So what made your day so long? Just reviewing some calendar conflicts. I picked up my fork. You know how it is. Double-booked meetings, overlapping appointments. She twirled pasta onto her fork. Yeah, that's annoying. Speaking of which, I pulled out my phone. I noticed something weird on the family calendar earlier. Her fork stopped halfway to her mouth. Oh? Yeah, some overlapping events. Wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything important. I unlocked my phone, opened the screenshots. Like this one from last Tuesday. I held up the phone so she could see. Her dentist appointment at 2 p.m. Tyler's dinner reservation invite at the same time. Both with location shares enabled, both showing the Hilton Garden Inn. The color drained from her face. Brandon. I swiped to the next screenshot. April 3rd. Then May 17th. Then June 2nd. I went through all 12, slowly, letting her see each one. The overlapping events, the accepted invites, the location data that put her exactly where Tyler was, every single time. What is this? Her voice came out thin. I set the phone down and picked up my fork again. I was hoping you could tell me, because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you've been meeting Tyler Patterson every Tuesday for the past 9 months. And this weekend, you're not going to Scottsdale with Julie and Amanda. You're going to San Diego, to the Hotel del Coronado. She opened her mouth, closed it. Her hand trembled around her fork. The place I proposed to you, I continued, my voice perfectly level. That's a nice touch. Sentimental. I can explain. Don't. I took a bite of pasta, chewed, swallowed. The food's good. You use the anchovies this time. Brandon, please. My phone was still on the table between us. I picked it up again, opened AirDrop, and selected her phone. All 12 screenshots. I hit send. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Then buzzed again. And again. 12 times, each notification a small detonation in the silence between us. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands. I watched her face as she opened the notifications, as she saw each screenshot appear in her photo library. Watched the exact moment she realized I had everything. How long have you known? She whispered. Long enough. I stood up, leaving my half-eaten pasta on the table. I'm going out. Don't wait up. Where are you going? I looked at her, really looked at her. This woman I'd loved for 6 years, who'd stood beside me at the altar and promised forever, who'd given me Emma, who'd shared my bed and my life and my trust. Does it matter? I picked up the iPad. Oh, and Melissa? Check your calendar. I made some updates. I sat in my truck in the driveway for 5 minutes, watching the lit kitchen window, waiting for my hands to stop shaking. Then I opened the calendar app on my phone and navigated to Melissa's personal wellness calendar, the one she didn't know I had full editing access to. I created a new event for this Saturday. Meeting, 8 p.m., the Sapphire Lounge. The Sapphire Lounge was a strip club on the east side of Phoenix. I'd driven past it 1,000 times, never been inside. I added Tyler's email address to the invite. Then I added 12 more email addresses, everyone in Melissa's contact list who worked at the elementary school where she volunteered twice a week. The PTA president, the principal, the other room moms, her book club friends. I typed in the location, enabled location sharing, set it to send notifications, then I hit send. Within seconds, my phone buzzed with Tyler's automatic accepted response. His calendar was probably set to auto-accept invites from Melissa's email. I created another event for Sunday morning. Brunch, 10 a.m., the Sapphire Lounge. Added the same distribution list. Sent it. Then I scrolled through the shared family calendar, the main one, the one Melissa used for everything, and selected all. Every entry, every dentist appointment, every yoga class, every girls' weekend, every carefully constructed lie. I hit delete. The calendar emptied. 3 years of shared history gone in one tap. My phone lit up with Melissa's call. I declined it. She called again. Declined. A text appeared. Please come inside. We need to talk. I put the truck in reverse and backed out of the driveway. I drove to Sterling Coffee on Maple Street and sat in the same corner booth where Rebecca had handed me the USB drive. My phone kept buzzing. Melissa calling, texting, calling again. I turned it face down and ordered black coffee I wouldn't drink. The calendar invites would detonate in 48 hours. Saturday night, when all those school volunteers and PTA moms got notifications that Melissa Cooper had invited them to the Sapphire Lounge. Sunday morning, when Tyler's wife saw the brunch invitation pop up on his shared calendar. I'd built a bomb and set the timer. My phone buzzed again. Not Melissa this time. Tyler. We need to talk. Tonight. I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back, Sterling Coffee, Maple Street. I'm already here. He arrived 23 minutes later, his BMW pulling into the lot like he owned it. Through the window, I watched him check his reflection in the side mirror, straighten his collar. Even now, he was performing. He walked in and spotted me immediately. His face was carefully neutral as he approached, but I saw the tension in his shoulders, the way his eyes darted to my hands like I might be holding a weapon. Brandon. He sat down across from me. Look, I don't know what Melissa told you. She didn't tell me anything. I slid my phone across the table. The screenshots were already pulled up. I figured it out myself. Well, Rebecca helped. You remember Rebecca? The woman you fired for seeing too much? His jaw tightened. He looked at the phone, at the calendar screenshots, at the evidence of 9 months of careful planning now laid bare. It's not what you think, he said. I almost laughed. It's exactly what I think. You've been sleeping with my wife, in my bed, using my company credit card to pay for hotels, billing our clients for the time you spent with her. I leaned forward. $14,000, Tyler. That's how much you stole from me to screw my wife. I'll pay it back. You'll do more than that? I pulled the phone back. I've already sent everything to my attorney. The expense reports, the calendar data, the location tracking, all of it. By Monday morning, you'll be facing embezzlement charges and a lawsuit that'll bury you. His face went white. Brandon, come on. We've been partners for 4 years. And you've been sleeping with Melissa for 9 months. I stood up. We're done. The partnership's dissolved. I'm buying you out at the lowest valuation our operating agreement allows. You'll sign the papers, or I'll make sure every client we have knows exactly what you did. You can't. I already did. I sent the documentation to our 3 biggest clients this afternoon. Told them we were restructuring due to financial irregularities. They're meeting with me Monday to discuss transitioning their accounts. I picked up my phone. You're finished, Tyler. In business and everywhere else. I walked out before he could respond. The house was dark when I got home except for the kitchen light. Melissa sat at the table, her phone in front of her, eyes red from crying. I canceled the San Diego trip, she said when I walked in. I told Tyler it's over. I didn't sit down. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Melissa? I leaned against the counter. You had a 9-month affair with my business partner. In our bed. You used our daughter's schedule to plan when you could meet him. You lied to my face every single day. I looked at her. What response were you expecting? I'm sorry. Her voice broke. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Mistakes happen once. You made a choice. Every Tuesday for 9 months. Every weekend trip. Every time you looked me in the eye and lied about where you'd been. I pushed off the counter. I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight. Tomorrow I'm calling a divorce attorney. You can stay here until we figure out the custody arrangement for Emma, but we're done. Brandon, please. I'm not interested in explanations or excuses. I headed for the stairs. I'll pick up Emma from my mom's tomorrow. You should probably figure out what you're going to tell her. I climbed the stairs and closed the guest room door behind me. Sat on the edge of the bed that smelled like fabric softener and dust. Pulled out my phone and opened the calendar app one last time. The invites were still scheduled. Saturday night, Sunday morning. 12 people who'd see Melissa's name attached to a strip club invitation. Tyler's wife who'd see the overlapping brunch. My finger hovered over the cancel button. I thought about Emma, 4 years old, blonde pigtails, strawberry ice cream smeared on her chin. She'd ask why Daddy wasn't living at home anymore. Why Mommy was sad. Why everything had changed. She didn't deserve to have her mother publicly humiliated. Didn't deserve to hear the other kids at school repeat gossip their parents had shared. Didn't deserve to grow up with that shadow hanging over her. I canceled the invites. All of them. Then I blocked Tyler's number and deleted Melissa's access to every shared calendar we had. The evidence was already with my attorney. The partnership dissolution was already in motion. The clients were already transitioning. I didn't need public revenge. I just needed out. 6 months later, I sat in my new apartment, a 2-bedroom in Tempe, close enough to share custody but far enough to breathe, and watched Emma build a tower out of blocks. She'd adjusted better than I'd expected. Kids were resilient that way. The divorce had been ugly but quick. Melissa didn't fight me on custody. Tyler's wife had filed for divorce 3 weeks after mine, once she'd discovered the credit card statements. Tyler and Melissa weren't together anymore either. Apparently, their relationship hadn't survived the transition from affair to reality. I'd bought Tyler out of the business for 60 cents on the dollar. He'd signed without argument, probably grateful I hadn't pressed criminal charges for the embezzlement. Last I heard, he was working for a firm in Tucson, starting over. Rebecca had helped me hire her replacement, a retired CFO named Patricia, who ran the office like a military operation. The business was actually doing better without Tyler. Turned out clients appreciated working with someone they could trust. "Daddy, look!" Emma held up her tower, beaming. "It's taller than me." "That's amazing, sweetheart." I took a picture with my phone. "Should we see how tall we can make it?" She nodded enthusiastically and ran to get more blocks. My phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. "Running 10 minutes late for pickup tomorrow." "Sorry." I typed back, "No problem." We were civil now, polite. We coordinated schedules and discussed Emma's preschool progress and split holidays according to the custody agreement. Sometimes I could almost forget what she'd done. Almost. But then I'd see Emma's blonde hair catch the light a certain way, or I'd smell coconut shampoo in the grocery store, or I'd drive past the Hotel Palomar and I'd remember. Not with the same burning anger as before, that had faded to something duller, more manageable, but with a kind of permanent sadness for what I'd thought we had. Emma came back with an armful of blocks and we built her tower higher. She laughed when it finally toppled, blocks scattering across the carpet. We built it again. Outside, the sun was setting over the Phoenix skyline. In a few hours, I'd make Emma dinner, give her a bath, read her 3 stories, tuck her into her new bed in her new room. Tomorrow, I'd drive her back to Melissa's house and spend the weekend alone, working on client proposals and going to the gym and slowly building a life I hadn't planned on. It wasn't the life I'd wanted, but it was honest. And after everything, that mattered more than I'd realized. Emma climbed into my lap, her small hands patting my cheeks. "You're smiling, Daddy." "Am I?" "Uh-huh. Are you happy?" I looked at her, really looked at her. This perfect little person who existed because of choices I'd made with someone who'd betrayed me. She was the best thing that had come from my marriage, and she'd remain the best thing long after the rest had turned to ash. "Yeah, sweetheart," I said, and meant it. "I'm happy." The truth was simpler than I'd expected. You can't control what other people do. You can't make someone love you honestly or choose you faithfully. All you can control is how you respond when they don't. I'd chosen to walk away with my dignity intact, to protect my daughter from the fallout, to rebuild rather than destroy. It wasn't the revenge I'd imagined in those first burning hours after seeing the screenshots. But it was the right choice. Some things can't be fixed. Some betrayals are too deep. And sometimes the only way forward is to let go of what you thought your life was supposed to be and build something new from what remains. Emma and I built 3 more towers that evening. Each one fell, and each time we built it again, a little different than before. That's all any of us can do, really. Build again, build better, build honest. And eventually, if you're lucky, you might even build something worth keeping.